I've been a huge fan of high fidelity audio for quite a few years now, and I don't, get all super snobbery about it. I still listen to MP3s and AAC through iTunes because I have an iPod and a phone, and I still listen to low quality audio, but I do enjoy my FLAC listening experience with my good headphones hooked up to my interface. And so it was about time that I switched to vinyl. So far I only have two, although that collection will soon be expanding. I got the Destiny original surround soundtrack with Marty O'Donnell and Paul McCartney of Hope for the Future, and then the Deadmau5 4x4 equals 12 album as well. So with the 1ByOne budget turntable, was my audio needs met? Time to find out. So this is the 1ByOne turntable. It is called the Vintage Turntable, and it is in a portable design. If we look at the physical tour, it is in a briefcase style case, which is really cool. It's designed to be portable, so you can take it with you. So props to them for that. You open up the latch and open it up just like a normal briefcase, and then you can go on and pop your record on and start playing. Pretty cool concept, except I'll give them points for that. That's a really, really cool concept, and that makes it very nice, especially since it has speakers on the front. It's definitely built to be a portable turntable, except they give you nowhere to put the power plug. Instead of just their logo in the center in the top flap, they could have included a couple pockets to put the power cord and maybe a couple extra audio cables or accessories like your RCA cables or whatever, but they don't. So if you're gonna keep it all together, you're left to put the power brick just inside the top to bounce around and potentially damage the actual components of the turntable. Huge oversight for what would have been a pretty decent execution of a pretty decent idea. So points for the idea, but points off for a flop of an execution. Otherwise, it's built fairly ruggedly feeling. It does have 4 tall rubber feet on the bottom, 2 speakers on the front, and a decent carrying handle. No complaints there. On the far right, we do get our input-output little panel there. We get the power and volume switch knob, we get the headphone out, we get the DC power in, 2 RCA out, and then a line in case you wanted to also listen to your MP3s, your iPod, your phone, or whatever through these speakers. On the front, you do get those 2 speakers as I mentioned. This is a belt-driven turntable, does support 33, 45s, and 78s, so it does include or support all 3. And up at the top, they do include a little adapter shoe to fit the 45s in there more comfortably if you have the ones with the bigger hole. Don't take that the wrong way. And the rest of it is kind of just a turntable, I guess. It's got a small platform to hold your record, a little pin in the middle to hold it in place. You have the needle arm, which has a little locking strap for when you're moving around so it doesn't flop around. That's good. It has an arm to raise and lower the needle, but it doesn't stay in place, and that's very confusing, and frankly I almost feel like I'm breaking the arm whenever I'm trying to move it because the little switch will just fall back into the wrong position for whatever odd reason. It does have a 3-way switch to select between 33, 45, and 78, and then a switch to tell it whether or not to automatically stop when the record is done playing. No major complaints here, other than the entire thing is wobbly as hell. Like, it's all just supported on like 2 tiny pins, and so the whole platform with these controls, the arm, and the spinning is all on this like completely unstable platform. And then not to mention the record playing itself is super wobbly. I'm gonna play this clip that I recorded when I first started playing. That's not the kind of wobbles I want from a Deadmau5 album, and yet that's what I'm getting, and that's very, very concerning. And obviously it's not affecting the audio quality on the whole, so it's maybe not a major complaint, but it's still very concerning because when I'm first trying to line up the needle or to play the song, it's not always making contact as the record's like wobble, wobble, wobble. And so it just, like, anytime you play your first track, it's not going to sound very good because it's not, the record keeps detaching from it. I've not damaged anything, or like I said, it doesn't even distort the audio other than not producing audio when it's not in contact, but still an annoyance. How does it sound though? Well, the front-facing speakers aren't bad. They sound pretty decent and they get decently loud, at least inside, when playing a record. Granted, it is a 2 small speaker system, so you're not getting much, you're not getting much from it, but it could sound really, really bad, and it sounds pretty close to the level of a lot of the good Bluetooth speakers I've used, which impressed me a little bit, especially given its price. However, I wanted to hook it up to other things. I wanted higher quality output, especially for the Deadmau5 album. I wanted some bass, as vinyl supposedly can have a lot of really, really good low end. And this is where this turntable is a complete waste of your time. The headphone out sounds like absolute garbage. It sounds tinny as can be, and just sounds like I'm listening not through a potato, but through a tin can. Like it sounds like the audio is being fed to me by like a 1980s modem. Got no clue why, but that's what happens. It's like, okay, well that sucks, but maybe there could be a million reasons that play into it. Let's hook up the RCA to my mixer and try it that way. So I hooked up my headphones to my mixer, hooked up the RCA, and most of what comes out of the RCA is just static or air. It's just like this slight hiss, and then if you crank the volume up super high, you get a little bit of actual music there. Not to mention the fact that the music is still coming out of the speakers themselves on the turntable unit, just at a lower volume. Got no clue why. It makes no freaking sense, and it's obnoxious as hell. I thought maybe it just didn't cooperate with my mixer. I'm still trying to give it the benefit of the doubt because I really want to enjoy my vinyl listening experience. So I hooked it up to a TV. RCA to TV. Shouldn't be any compatibility issues. RCA to RCA. Same thing. Just a lot of hiss and then some light music if you crank the volume all the way up and the volume's still playing out of the speakers. What the hell happened to your I/O for it to be this bad? It doesn't make any freaking sense. It literally defeats the purpose of using the turntable unless you're literally just going to bring it to a place, sit it and play it out of the speakers and then be done and not really care about quality or anything. You just want background music. In terms of a recommendation, I can't really recommend this turntable to anyone who just doesn't want to set it and play it music in the background and not pay too much attention to it.
You have failed to proceed.
It had a lot of good ideas in terms of, like, I mean, that's a decent set of audio inputs and outputs. The portability idea is pretty decent, but poor execution. The wobble on the vinyl, which keeps it from making contact with the needle sometimes, is unacceptable. The fact that they had an oversight of not giving you a place to put the power cable is just pretty silly. And the fact that none of the outputs actually work worth a damn makes it completely useless for my purposes. So, unfortunately, this is not a recommendation from me. This has been my review of the 1ByOne vintage portable turntable belt-driven piece of crap. My name has been Adam Vox. Be sure to smash the like button if you enjoyed. If you have any other better turntable recommendations, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm actually going to be checking out, hopefully, well, the one that I'm planning on checking out is the Audio-Technica AT-LP60 or the LP120, but it's a lot more expensive because I've heard good things about them, and at this point I just want a decent vinyl listening experience before I build up my collection too much. That's been enough for me. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.